This is how Raul would do his chicken. If I knew what Raul was doing, I'm gonna do a chicken recipe that he would do. Everything he did was so flavorful, so delicious. Okay, we're gonna start off with about 3 pieces of bacon.
Yummy.
Already got that cut up.
You can't go wrong with bacon.
You cannot. Now, I am not going to put this on a real high heat, but I basically want the flavor and the fat.
Yummy.
For this particular recipe. And then I'm going to end up using the bacon pieces at the end of the recipe.
Ooh, if I don't eat them all, right?
Hey.
Try not to eat them.
So many times I've been inspired by my old buddy Raul. You know, I've been surrounded by great cooks my whole life. Raul was an exceptional fellow from France who had a restaurant in Casablanca. Every time that I'm in the kitchen and I'm thinking about Raul, we turn on cue, hey Joe, cue the French cafe music. See?
There you go.
There we
Perfect.
go. And now Raul is with us. A little while ago, you were bringing this picture down, and I heard a piece of music. I asked him what his favorite piece of music was. That piece came on.
Uh-oh.
I said, Nikki, do you hear that? So I think Raul is with us tonight. And that's the great thing about food. Whether it's your mother, your father, your grandparent, your aunt or uncle, or a friend who cooked something and did it their way.
Good memories.
Good memories.
That's right.
Something about your olfactories. You know, you remember those smells,
right.
they lock in,
That's
and it
right.
triggers memories. So here's our beautiful bacon,
That looks nice. Let me get your pan.
if you will. Nice and brown.
Ooh, I'll try not to taste that. I probably should try one.
Yeah, you know. Remember,
Make sure.
I need some
I
of
know
this
you
for
need it at
later.
the end.
So we're going to set aside some things, and we're going to try to use this one pan as much as we can, Nikki.
So when you do
So when I'm
dishes
cleaning
later,
up,
yeah, won't be so bad.
won't be so bad.
That's very nice.
Now, you know what? I found out through Raul how good food can be. Somebody who has been classically trained
Oh yeah.
in Europe. So tonight's show is dedicated to my old buddy Raul.
Well, that's nice.
Now we're going to take a little bit of this chicken. Let's do maybe 5 pieces,
Yeah.
6 pieces. I have pre-seasoned some flour, and I'm just putting a real light coating of flour on here.
And just salt and pepper, right?
Just salt and pepper, and a little bit of thyme. Where have we seen that before?
Yeah. That's your favorite, I think.
It is. If you look around at this recipe that we're doing tonight, there's nothing really strange or unusual. You know, you got onions and shallot and carrots. And more types of onions and mushrooms and some fresh thyme and rosemary and a bay leaf. I want you to try this recipe. I want you to try some grub you've never tried before to impress your friends and just open up that part of your brain that is just willing to accept this new information and these new tastes.
Yeah.
So here we are with our chicken and a little bit of bacon grease, and I'm not going to completely cook this.
So just brown it up a little
Just going to
bit.
brown it up and get it nice and pretty. I'll tell you what, Nikki, let's go ahead and take the onions and the shallot
Okay.
and the carrots, if you will. Let's just go ahead and just dump them in there.
All right, I'll do it.
So, if you got some chicken sitting around in the fridge and you think, okay, I'd like to do something different tonight, why don't you? You know, it's Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, and you know, that name started before you were on the show.
That's right.
You know, we were just doing this and that and the other. But the word country comes into play there. What country? So we're going to get these just about to where the onions start getting brown. In just a minute, we're going to take some garlic. And again, I'm not worried about the brown on the bottom of this pan. It's
You want it.
expected, and you kind of want it. These are just starting to cook. And we're not going to cook these all the way through. I'm going to probably go, I don't know, 8 minutes on this. tops, just to start cooking those carrots through a little bit and getting the onions nice and brown. All right, I'm gonna move these over here, and if you will, let's take that garlic and make its own little spot. You don't want to overdo your garlic because it does tend to get bitter if you overdo it. You know, we're not on a real high temperature. It's not going crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and find a little bit of olive oil over here. And I'm not scraping that off the bottom yet. All right, so now I'm gonna stir that garlic in.
It's smelling awful good in here.
Smelling awful good. Now here's the kind of thing Raul would do to throw me off. You pull everything aside. He takes some tomato paste. He used tomatoes in lots of stuff.
That's interesting.
And he roll that in. We're gonna use, I don't know, a couple teaspoons here.
I look like tablespoons.
Well,
They were pretty big.
tablespoons.
Those are pretty big.
And I'm just gonna let that
Interesting.
start to roast just a little bit. So you smell that?
Oh yeah, it smells
See
so
where
good.
we're going?
Mhm. I do.
Now, we're gonna come back in with about, I'd say a little over a cup of wine.
Yummy.
Now I used a Pinot Noir in this. I think that's probably what he would have
Good.
used. I use a cup of chicken broth.
Yummy.
Now I'm gonna
Sounds
crank
good.
this up because this has got to get to boiling here. Now he would have probably used, if I know him, he would have used an ouzo.
Oh, my
Or
grandfather
something
liked
like
ouzo.
that.
Yeah,
he'd have done something
Got
like
some
that.
little
I'm gonna
sweet-
put just a little bit of brandy in,
Ooh, yummy.
and it has a little ouzo in it.
Yeah, there you
Smell
go.
it? Now there are various ways to make this dish. There's the 13-hour way,
Oh, there's
or
long.
there's the hour-and-a-half way.
I like that.
You like that
I
better?
like that better because I'm hungry.
Even less, actually, if you do it this way. Now, this is not by any means the Coq Au Vin recipe, but it is Raul's way.
Yes. Makes it
And
better.
it's just flavorful. Now, at this point, you'll probably want to add some salt
You got
to
a
your
good boil.
taste.
Got a good boil going.
Got a good boil going. Let's get that. Remember all that stuff that was on the bottom?
You're gonna scrape it up.
It's not going to be there here in a second.
Yummy.
But it does add flavor.
Oh, I bet.
And this whole thing is about depth of flavor and the differences of flavor. And if I knew Raul, he would probably sneak some sort of jelly in there.
Oh, that's true.
I'm telling you, he was sneaky. A lot of times he'd put something, he'd look at me, he'd had he called his cooking vest. He'd look at me and he'd sneak in his pocket.
So you didn't know what he was throwing
He'd
in
throw
there.
it in. I said, what was that? He said,
So you had different pockets of different
oh,
stuff.
and I'm just
Sugar,
telling
salt,
you.
pepper.
I think a lot of times it was sugar or salt. Might have been some MSG, who knows? Because everything he did was magic. I'm talking just magic. Now again, most of the time that you read about people who are doing a recipe like this, they're gonna probably stick with thyme. He would probably throw some fennel in there.
I like fennel. You like your fennel.
I'm on a fennel
Nothing-
kick.
nothing wrong
I've
with
been on a
fennel.
fennel kick for the last 42 years.
I was gonna say your whole life.
And you know what? We're going to put something he would have done. Some rosemary. Thyme, rosemary, and bay leaf right here. This will be our bouquet garni.
Yummy.
The main thing that's going to take time here, we got to get our chicken up to 165.
Right.
And we got to make sure our carrots are done. Everything else will sort itself out. But look what we got going on there.
Looks delicious.
Isn't that beautiful?
Smells delicious too. I'm ready.
We're going to turn that down just a little bit. We're going to take these beautiful pieces of chicken.
Ooh, so they're gonna cook in there.
I like thigh. Yeah, it's going to finish because it's not completely done cooking. So we're
Yummy.
going to finish the chicken and finish the carrots. And all those tastes are going to become acquainted, as my grandfather
Yummy.
used to say. So I'm going to crank that down just a little bit more because we just want that to simmer for the next 20 minutes.
That's pretty.
What do you think?
Looks good.
All right,
Delicious.
Let's cover that up. We're getting towards the end, Iggy.
I know. I'm excited.
Close to a really good dinner here. So we're going to put some olive oil in there. We're going to take these mushrooms.
Yum.
We're going to saute these up. Just put a little salt, a little pepper. You know, you never know how something you say or something you do can affect another person when they're in their stage in life where
Right.
you don't really know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing. I bet you Raul never knew that he had inspired me to want to make the best food I could possibly make. I wonder how
That's
many
true.
other people he inspired along the way.
If he's that great of a chef, I'm sure a lot of people ate his
I
food.
can't even tell you. He would take a piece of bread. It didn't matter what he did. It was, I don't know if he had magic dust in his pockets or what, but he'd bring you like a breakfast sandwich he'd made, or a, just like a piece of bread with some sort of jelly or something
It was
on
sugar. He put sugar on everything.
I don't know, but it was just everything he did was
Really
magic.
good.
I believe we're there.
Beautiful.
You don't want them done.
Right.
All right, let's take another peek at this.
Oh, wow. Yummy. Yummy.
Do you smell that?
I do.
Now this is just kind of magic. I just got to say that the smell is just absolutely wonderful. I bet you Raul would be proud, and I bet he would approve, because I know how he cooked things and the smell that was involved with that process. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
Okay.
Now what do we want to do? We want to thicken that up just a little. So a little trick that Raul did, it was butter and flour, equal parts. And we made a little ball there. It's called beurre Meunier.
And I actually played in it and got all dirty.
And
Made
so
that for
he
you.
would take a pinch off something I noticed when he was making the sauces. He would just plop it in here.
So he had this. He kept this in his fridge.
Yes.
He made it and just.
yes.
That's really interesting. I like that. That's a great
Beurre
idea.
Meunier. And that's butter and flour. And that's what he would use as a thickener. Now watch what this does. Without having big clumps of flour, the butter
yeah.
melts with, see how it's
Wow.
lightening things up? And all that is butter and flour.
Wow.
We're gonna take our mushrooms, bring them over
Yummy.
here, because they're looking lonely
Yes, they
by
are.
themselves. That's gonna add just a
Oh,
little
yeah.
more depth and that earthiness. That's just gonna be so wonderful. Scoop up that last little bit, if you will.
Well,
Now look at what we got. Look at the consistency of that. These are pearl onions. Oh, look at that, Ms. Farmer.
that looks really good. Amazing.
Let me think. I've got one more step to gently place
Chicken back in.
our chicken back in here. And this is 212 degrees. So even though I washed my hands last Thursday, we don't have to worry about that.
That's right.
All right, I'm gonna put that top back on. I'm gonna turn it back down because we're where we need to be.
Getting close.
Bread's getting brown.
Ooh, yummy.
In a minute, you're gonna see something magic. It all came together.
Potatoes look amazing.
I always get nervous right at the last minute. All right, let's take a look at this. Oh,
Ooh, yum.
look at this. I got to be careful. I don't want to mess my chicken up. It's too
Yeah.
beautiful.
That is pretty chicken. You did good.
Let's get some of
Some of the
the
sauce.
side gigs out here. That
Yum.
sauce is so amazing.
It's almost like stew. It's so good. Like a little stew around it.
It's just a slow cooked situation
Yummy.
that can't be beat. You know what we need on here with that?
What?
Slice of bread.
I can do it.
Slice of fresh bread with butter on it. I'm gonna take a little bit of this bacon, put on top of here. Remember our bacon?
Yes.
Mrs. Farmer, you ready to dive in?
I am after all this hard work.
I'm interested. I'm gonna see where your fork goes.
I want to try carrot.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that sauce is amazing.
Isn't that something? Now you can't do that in 10 minutes.
That's really good.
It's gotta cook a while.
So good.